Well, we heard a few minutes ago about new data showing the world is getting hotter, but a team of researchers believe changing our diet could help the environment. They say cutting out meat and switching to a plant-based diet could make all of the difference. Let's speak to Paul Berends, who researches environmental change at Leiden University in the Netherlands. Paul, thanks for joining us here on the BBC. This is not a new message, is it?
No, this is not a new message. We know that cutting levels of meat and shifting towards plant-based diets will reduce the amount of emissions in the form of belches and animal manure across the world. What we looked at was because animals take up such a large amount of land, 80% of all agricultural land is used for animal agriculture, we could put that land, that freed land from a dietary change, into better use, into sequestering carbon from the atmosphere. And what we find is actually you get a double dividend. You double the benefit of your shift in diets if you're able to allow that land that previously had mostly animal agriculture, but some other vegetable products too, back to nature so that it would draw down carbon into those ecosystems, into that vegetation.
Now, I noticed that you talked about a shift in diet. Does that mean you're not necessarily suggesting people give up meat entirely, just that they eat less of it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So this is not a purist thing. It does mean that you have to cut out quite a bit of meat, maybe one time a week for red meat at an absolute maximum. We looked at planetary diets, which are assessed by nutritionists to be good for health and also environmentalists to be good for the environment too. And what we've got to remember is it is not just climate change. This is a vision for the future, if you like, because it not only reduces the amount of emissions, but if we are able to free that land, in our study, we looked at what would happen if people in high-income nations ate a plant-based diet or a more plant-based diet, and you would save an area around the size of the EU in land. And that's a huge opportunity in terms of biodiversity protection, in terms of lower air pollution, better air quality, more access to nature for all of us. So this is a sort of contract between us and the food production systems.
And just help me put this in context. If there was a major shift in the food that humans eat, how much difference would that make versus some of the other major shifts that need to occur to stop climate change?
Well, we know that even if we were to shift the entire energy system away from fossil fuels and towards renewables and put those electric cars in, electric bikes in, redesign urban spaces, that even the food system on its own, the belching and the manure, the fertilizers, would be enough to push us beyond 1.5 degrees. So researchers are talking also about a great food transition, not just the energy transition. And that great food transition are those three main things that we talk about in the food system, which is a change in diets, a massive reduction in food waste and increasing production. But when we look at those three, changes in diets and massive reductions in food waste are the two main options, and we can actually do something about that.
Paul, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Come back on again soon, please. That's Paul Berends from Leiden University in the Netherlands.